think that's where it needs to be for me to go. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. We're both having mask issues. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Oh, that's some dowdy adventures. It sounds like right now, but
It's Monday.
it's our Monday.
Tuesday, whatever.
Tuesday is our Monday, and yes, I sent Liz a reel that was like, what was it?
Yes.
Yesterday is history.
Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, and today is no.
And today it's just like is not looking good. So because I'm tired, but what else is new? So I'll stop complaining about it. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I am the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in rainy and kind of miserable outside today, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
And we're wearing new things.
Yay!
You're wearing your hair.
I got my hair done.
I got my hair did. Yes, she did her own hair.
Yes.
So she really got it did. And it's really pretty. It's
The
cute.
longest
like
set I've ever done.
No, pretty soon you're gonna have one that's so long that you need to like carry it around in a little tray next to you.
Yeah.
So tell us about the hair.
So for Advent, I ordered a spinning Advent box, and it was 24 days of roll eggs and then a 4-ounce braid on Christmas.
Ooh.
And it was based on the Aurora Borealis,
Okay.
the Northern Lights.
Mhm.
And I was like, yay, January, I'm gonna have Northern Lights hair. And that
And
didn't
then
happen.
thanks, COVID.
Yeah. And so I have the let me,
So is the bright stuff?
the bright stuff are the colors.
Uh-huh.
And I did them in different patches. Like down this way, it's like greens and blues and purples. Well, and then the dark is like night sky. And then over here, there's pinks and blues, a little bit of greens.
So
And-
my understanding is you already had the dark stuff,
The
blue.
so
Or
there's
did you
two
not?
different blues.
Okay.
This was the blue that came with the kit. This was the braid.
Okay, the bright blue. Okay.
And then this dark I already had.
Okay. Oh, and
So-
I'm seeing because I'm like, okay, but if I knew you used stuff you already had.
Yeah,
So I was like, but it's your longest set ever. And I do say the darker stuff is a little shorter,
it is. It is.
but then it gives you that layered look, right?
Yes.
Look at all that. Ah, I love it.
Goes past my bum.
It does. It does. That's pretty awesome. And you're gonna keep it as long as you
I'm
can.
going to keep it as long as I can.
And then if numbers go up and you're not feeling comfortable with people going, oh, your hair is so cute, you're gonna take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, I know this because she tells me this.
Yeah.
So I should let her tell you this.
I
But I just did.
I was hoping that yesterday we would be in the 300s, and we weren't. We were still a little high,
See,
but
I suspected we wouldn't be, but we keep things fairly controlled here, and we
Yeah.
don't have a whole lot of people in and out of the shop, and it's raining like all week, which might mean that, well, could mean one of two things.
either we'll be super busy or we'll be super not.
Yeah, I was probably going to say it in the opposite order, but the same essential thing, So, so Liz has new hair. I started and finished a project over the weekend. Actually, I forget. Maybe I started this like right before the weekend,
You started that
like Thursday night or something. Maybe I hadn't started it when.
Friday.
Yeah.
Or Friday night. It was might have been Thursday
You
at the
can-
shop when it was super slow.
You can go back on Instagram. Yeah, it might have been on that Thursday, and that's when I was using the bigger hook.
Yeah.
And then I decided no. So you can go back on my Instagram and see when it first appeared. It made like 2 appearances in the morning meditation, and it's already done. Boom. So we got in new colors. I'm gonna actually go grab one of the Itos to show you before and after. We got in new colors of Ito that we were talking about last Wednesday. And today is the last day to save 15% off the Ito with the code product of the week with spaces in the online shop or by coming in through the rain. So this took 1 skein, and it's crochet, which is how it got done so fast.
It was so fast. So fast.
So I want to say this is the Mountain View Cowl. This is the skein I used. A skein like this colorway. This is the 43 Conan, not to be spelled with a K, not to be confused with Conan O'Brien or Conan the Barbarian. So and I'm probably horribly mispronouncing what is supposed to be the Japanese pronunciation of that. But this has greens, little hints of greens and blues and other things with a whole lot of warm colors. And the cowl is actually made, if I take it off and show it to you, the cowl is made in one long rectangle, like you can see it in here, in there, and it goes around and overlaps, like you overlap the two sides of it and then single crochet the edge down here, trying to get it there, down here, to make it into a triangle cowl like this. And you're supposed to make it, well, the saga of this, I'm already overheated. This, by the way, before I take it off, this is my Easy Eyelet Yoke cardigan from Knitatude, Chantal. And I'm already overheated, so it's coming off.
It's kind of warm today.
Anyway, yeah. I'm going to be layered today. But it's raining, so you think it'd be cold and clammy, but no, it's just weird. It's February. So this was made, if I show it off a little closer, it has all these super cute rows where you're making like a row with holes in it, and then you're filling in the holes on your next row by going in front or behind that row with holes in it. And I started on the hook it was written for, and it was coming out huge, and the colors were pooling. So I went down, supposed to be on like an H, and I went down to an F because I'm a loose crocheter. And it's also supposed to be, it's written for a different type of yarn, but the yardage, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like one of these. And this is our yarn of the week. And I haven't crocheted in a while. The stars aligned to point me to make this. I still had a couple of times on this. So either you use two different colorways is how the pattern's described, or you go from the inside and the outside of the ball to have colors that will kind of be variegated and popping against each other and have like a mosaic effect. And they're even like, it was totally pooling all the time because inside and outside of the ball, you're going in opposite directions, but you come this way with one end and then you go that way with the other end. And so there were times when the colors were going opposite directions, but my stitches were going opposite directions. So the colors were actually going in the same direction. And so, so I went down a smaller hook and that took care of it. There were a couple of spots it still did that. And I actually wound off at one point when it was happening. I wound off, I manipulated the color. I took off some because this yarn, 100% wool single ply, is really great for wet felting, for spit joining is the fun term, but getting the two ends wet and like using friction to not have ends to weave in.
Yeah.
And I realized with this type of yarn that color changes potentially faster than the yarn that she wrote it for, the woman who wrote the pattern wrote it for. I probably didn't have to be alternating inside outside. I probably could have just gone, because there was one time when it was annoying me enough that I just did one more pass with the same end of the yarn. I probably could have just gone from one end and it would have looked just as cool as going from the inside and the outside. The other thing that might have made this even cooler is to use two different colorways from each. Use two that are completely different and do the alternating, follow the instructions. And I did it out of one because I wanted to show you, you could make something like this with one ball. If you got two,
you could make two.
You could make two of them and they probably wouldn't look, they would be remotely similar to each other, but not entirely because there's so many different colors in the Ito balls. But yes, you could absolutely have two cowls out of two skeins. And just to show you, like, you're supposed to go to 30 something rows. My gauge was still, I think, too big, even on the F, because again, I'm a loose crocheter. This has, let me see, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. Yeah. I might have come close to maybe 30 rows on this, but not the number of rows I was supposed to. She also says, or 9.5 inches. And I'm pretty sure I just started playing yarn chicken with it. I'm pretty sure this is like at least 10 inches, which is why it sits a little high on me, even doing the little rollover cuffy thing. Because I wanted to play yarn chicken and see how many rows I could get out of it. Plus the single crochet along here. This is how much I had left of one skein.
But it's a nice, comfy, cozy, warm.
It is. And it is 100% wool, which some people will find absolutely cozy and some people will find a little itchy. It's not as itchy as I think wool can be, but I have no problem with this. But some people, especially people who come in saying I'm allergic to wool, there are people who come in saying they're allergic who are bona fide allergic, like breakout in hives, have to take Benadryl before they go in a yarn shop. And there are people who come in who say I'm allergic to wool, and it's because it's itchy. It's a little bit itchy. And we never know who is who. So we try to treat everyone like it's the first. But if it's just that you find some wools a little itchy, it's going to be personal preference if you like this or not. But I'm loving this. I'm waiting for the colder temperatures to come back, which might not be till next year, but might be next week. Who knows? To wear this a little without my sweater on. This is quite comfy right now. But yes, that's how much I played yarn chicken and I won. And if anything, it's taller than maybe it should be. So ha ha ha. And this is really, if you like fun, cheery, like sorbet, sherbet type colors, this is fantastic.
It really, really is.
So this is one thing I finished this weekend. And let's go back and forth, Liz, because you finished something this weekend.
I finished something else this weekend too. I didn't put it on because it's hot.
I didn't put my other thing on. It's okay.
I finished my Twilight sweater.
Yay! Fantastic. And that is a nice cropped length for you, right?
Yes.
And remind the viewers at home, how many colors is this pattern written for?
The Twilight pattern was written for 3 different colors.
How many did you use?
I used 5. Because
go big or go home. And it's an example of you can change a pattern and do what you want. I mean, awesome.
Some of there's 3 grays, a red, a black.
Awesome. And the black is only used like a teachy
just
bit,
a tiny bit at the very top. It was supposed to gradiate like winter evenings, like you can see the twilight,
And you just said, I'm gonna do what I want.
I want dark and broody with a pop of red.
So fantastic.
Yep, lots of ends to weave in. Here's all.
You didn't. Oh, you didn't die on Sleeve Island.
I did not. Fortunately, I had time before I did my hair to
finish
the sleeves because I was so close, and my Rolex or my felting got done Friday night, and so I had time. And then while I was dyeing my hair and waiting for the dye to set, I worked a little bit, and then while I was waiting for my hair to finish drying, I was like, let me see how long I can bind off.
And this is a great example of, not quite multitasking, but task switching.
Yes.
Maximizing your time, right? There you go.
I thought about wearing it today because Twilight and my Northern Lights hair would have gone really cool together, but it's kind of warm. Next week.
Hopefully you'll have your hair in longer than a week. So you will have a chance to show both of them off together.
I will wear it next week.
Yes.
Because cold is coming.
Cold is coming. Oh, great.
Cold is coming.
Oh, great. Yeah. I'm done with cold, although I'm still working on a lot of winter sweaters. So,
I have
to get some of them done.
I have, let's see, my thistle sweater, my watercolored sweater. That was my 3rd sweater on needles. Okay, so I have 2 sweaters on needles, and I have one more that I really, really want to do because it goes with my next set of hair.
You should totally do it because I'm beating you by so many at this point.
Well,
you have permission because I'm doing crazy stuff. You have permission to do whatever you want.
I'm going to work on my zombie apocalypse sweater. Like,
Okay.
I have to get the pattern or the chart done,
Again, it's
but
not something you can search on Ravelry called the Zombie Apocalypse sweater. You will not find that. This is a creation that Liz is putting together. So
kind of the same with my thistle sweater where
we compensate for each other.
and unfortunately there wasn't even a chart for my Zombie Apocalypse sweater. I had to create a chart and then put it into I messed that up on Saturday. So
we totally compensate for each other because I stick to the recipes. I stick to the patterns so that y'all can, people who walk in the store, I can say, this is how you do this and this is how you do that and blah, 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 blah. And Liz goes the opposite direction. It's kind of why, on one level, it's a little bit why my stuff is all hanging up in the shop and her stuff is in a bucket on the floor. Partially.
I still follow the pattern. Like, I have the pattern that I like to use and I follow that, but the increases on the chart and everything are exactly as the pattern. I just stick a different design in there, which is kind of a new thing.
So if someone comes in and says, I want to make that, if they pulled it out of a pile from the floor, it's easier to explain that's not a pattern we can easily get for you versus like it's on display. Why can't I make it? Although more and more people are coming in just going say, why can't I buy it? And it's like, oh, so many reasons.
I'm not publishing any of my patterns. So I might tell you where to find what I started with and then you got to figure it out. But
yeah, right. But and like all your Papillons, we could put them all on display. We already have people eyeing the one in the front window going, ooh, and it's like that was one that Liz made from yarn from her stash. And we don't sell that here.
Some of it's from the shop and some of it isn't.
Exactly. And Liz does them on different needles and they take different amounts of yarn. I mean, they're great for examples to show off to customers when they ask, can I modify things?
Yeah.
But for the most part, and we won't have this discussion on camera. If she ever wanted me to put stuff up, we could have that discussion. But for the most part, my stuff's on display more because it's directly from a recipe and I can talk about what the ins and outs of it and stuff like that. But
I wear mine and it sits in a pile on the floor and I'm okay with that.
I wear my stuff. I swap them out. It's amazing. I have all these sweaters up on the little IKEA kids like display things, which are much better. Like they're almost like little dress forms. They're much better than just the little hangers you can put them on, but they still don't look as good as when they're on a person.
Yeah.
I hesitate saying on me because then I feel vain or something because I'm a little roly-poly, but it just looks better on a person with real curves than on the dress forms that are a little like, eh. So, and I'll be like, someone will say, oh yeah, that sweater you did over Christmas. And I'll point to it and they'll go, that's it. And I think it's because it's not on a person.
Yeah.
It still roughly looks like it would on me, but I fill it out a little bit differently.
The arms are just kind of like,
yeah, I don't walk around the shop like this. My parents would say my posture is like this, but I don't walk around the shop like this. Yeah. So, yes, I am almost 45 and I still have that conversation with my parents. Love them. Love your mom and dad. Because parents are parents. It's all good. So I digress a little bit. What were we talking about? We don't know.
Projects,
things,
so,
sweaters. Oh yeah, that you want to start a new sweater because I might have started a sweater and a half this weekend, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I finished 2 projects. Never mind that I started one this weekend that I finished. I think it counts that I finished 2 projects this weekend. That should give me license to start a crap ton more. But yeah, like my like our knitter is like, why don't you ever show us the finished projects? It's like, because I'm not finishing them. I just keep starting new ones. I actually busted out my Cameo shawl last week and I had to keep getting other projects out of timeout for morning meditation because I was focusing so much on this. This is the one, it's in the same yarn as one of the sweaters I just started, the Vivacious Fiberspace Vivacious DK in the blush colorway. And I was like, oh my gosh, not only do I have too many projects on needles that are Fiberspace because we love it, but I have 2 projects that are the same colorway on needles. What?
But
they're very different.
Very different.
Which is kind of fun. But I figured like this one, you start on the very longest top edge of the triangle shawl. There's a lot of triangle shawls. You start at the top, but only a few stitches, and the whole thing grows as you go. This one starts at the very top straight edge of a triangle shawl and keeps getting narrower and narrower and narrower. And when I started it, I said, but that's too small. And I cast on extra stitches according to the pattern writer for making it bigger. So the first, I'll point this out when I finish it. The first skein only got me like this far. And then the second skein, like I thought this thing was so huge that it took me 5 skeins to finish. It actually only took me 4. And this is the remains of my 4 based on ends I wove it. So the Cameo has lace and cables, and it's Melanie Rice, and it's so much fun. And I blocked it yesterday. So, and it's not, if you want to make the yeah, I'm going to have you help me hold this up, Liz. It's not this huge. If you want to make it yourself, you can do the slightly smaller size.
I like the ruffles at the top.
Well, and the ruffles at the top are made through just through your stitches. They're going to naturally make it do that, and through a little bit of blocking. Like the blocking, she said, be really gentle with the blocking and just lay it out like without stretching and fluff it a little. I'm going to stretch a little bit, but not too much. And to pin each of these little guys up top and pin the center just so it won't curl while it's drying. But yes, the way the lace work creates these ruffles at the very top, and the bottom, the point down there is where it finished, and that might have to be our cover photo. We'll see. But but let's see. Hold it out for another second because I want to see if I can find. I want to say it's over here. My ends, I left them hanging a little so I could see them, but they look great and I can't find them. I don't want to waste too much of y'all's time, but I want to say,
I see one end.
well, that's the very bottom.
Yeah, I know that's the very bottom.
But I want to say the first skein only, here, hold it up for a second. The first skein only got me to like down here, only got me a few inches. And then the second skein is in here. And then the third skein goes down to here. And then the fourth skein was just for the tip. So I'll take a look while we're talking and see if I can find it. I want to say the first one's over on your side, Liz.
Okay.
But to show it off a little closer, see all those lovely cables, and they go in different directions. But I was knitting this direction. So it's really funny because I'm seeing the cables go in one direction, and that as I'm knitting, as I'm holding it towards myself, and then they go the other direction when you're done, because again, it's falling away from yourself as you knit. But then this is the top where I started. And I think one of the things I like about triangle shawls, and this one's a little bit shallower than some, but it's also got a deeper tip than, it's more like a one that starts up here and has that center spine. You can wear it over your shoulders, or you could do a big, huge wrap around like this. Like this is the way I like to wear shawls.
And that's perfect for both ways.
Either way. Yeah, it's got, because I made it bigger, it's got a lot of definition to it. Doing one like I did with, you start at the very top edge and get smaller. There's no center spine on this. It just, the pattern goes straight down and gets narrower. So that's the difference between starting with only a few stitches at the top or starting with the whole entire top row. But here's the other way. I might wear it like this for the rest of the time, because we could put a pin here and be all nice and warm, or we could do the one thing over the shoulder drapey thing, or both over the, I don't know. But if I wanted to keep my arms warm, I have this option. So I'm super excited with how this one came out, and it's all soft and lovely. And actually it's kind of fun when we wear it like this, the cables go across.
Yeah.
So again, a little pin, right, a little shawl pin right here would be really fun to keep it closed. I could put this guy back on, but if I wanted to keep the front of my neck warm with this and layer up, I'd probably use this guy because he goes. This is my shimmering pearl that I just finished. I could be super layered like this. I'm gonna be so cozy in the shop like this. But anyway, coordinating layers, right?
Coordinating layers.
So this guy, hang on, I just moved a scale somewhere. Where'd I put it? No show notes, people.
Never.
Never. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's way over here. Let's see how much I had left. I think I want to say I have to look at what the yardage says on the actual pattern. But I want to say if I hadn't made this one larger than the pattern called for, I might have been able to do it with 3 skeins. But I would totally more trust. I got about 80 grams of this left. So I didn't even use half of this last one. I would trust what Melanie Rice says about yardage if you want to make this one the slightly smaller size. So this is one of my like very moderate Carolizations is it said, if you want to make it bigger, add on so many stitches. And I think it was like 60 something. So I ended up casting on well over 200 stitches to start this.
Quick question.
Yes.
Did you gauge swatch?
No. I hardly ever gauge swatch for no. I hardly ever gauge swatch for shawls because I'm not overly concerned if it's too big or too small, like because it doesn't have to fit like my arms, right?
It's a shawl.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, the reason, that can also contribute. Like if you're doing the smaller size and you want to make sure you have the right amount of yarn, gauge swatching will help.
That's true.
Determine.
That's a very good point. Like I go based on what the shawl, what the pattern writer says, and I usually overestimate slightly. But yeah, without doing a gauge swatch, if you run short or long on yarn, that could be why. That could absolutely be why. I am quickly trying to pull up the pattern on my phone to see how much yarn she recommends for this. She's always got a great chart on the front page. Done on a size 7. She did it with Malabrigo Rios, but we don't have Malabrigo in the shop. She did 3 skeins for hers. 210 yards per skein. This has 250. So like it might be written for, it's written for a number 4, and I did it. This is technically a heavy number 3. So 3 skeins of yarn would have been absolutely fine for the smaller size, which let's see, finished size, let's see, approximately 58 inches from tip to tip, 25 inches from upper edge to lower tip after blocking without stretching. I have not measured this, but I want to say
it's a good 6, 7
feet. Yeah. So I decided to make mine bigger. And the other thing, I'm going to see what she says about, she has you do it like a gauge swatch for like, if you want to practice the pattern a little bit first, she's got a sample for that in here. Body section. It was 296 stitches for this size. Like not the one I'm wearing, but the one that's in the pattern. It was 296 stitches. And it said, see notes if you want to make it bigger. Let's see if I can find that. Add a multiple of 72 stitches if you want to make it bigger. So the pattern repeats come out right. So whatever, basically I was at 360 stitches when I started this ish. So I went bigger home type of deal because I have enough triangle shawls that are all the same size. So this one's a little bit bigger, but not as big as my Wellerman, but a little bit bigger. And this yarn is just such a joy to work with that, moving on to things that I did a little bit of this last night. Now I feel like I have one project with this colorway on needles. Yay. So let me see if I can, this is my Avena. It's only a little bit bigger, but same color, right? Almost blends in, but we've got this lovely color work. Avena by Jennifer Steingass. It's only a little bit bigger than it was before, but the viney things are getting a little more stretched out, which is kind of fun.
I like it.
And it's color changing. Like I'm loving all the different, it's dark energy, I think, is the colorway. I was mislabeling it on Instagram as dark matter. It's dark energy for the feeder book for this. So now I feel like I can get back to this and start really working on this. However, I've been sidetracked. So we're starting to run a little short on time. Let me show you all my sidetracking things. This one is one I should be sidetracked with. I'm going to show y'all, I finished the end of section 6 on my Echo Point, which is, again, even on my super long needles here, my 60-inch cords, it's hard to show off because it's getting longer every row. But section 6 means I'm adding back in the verdigris that's up here. I can't wait to get back to these colors up here that I only used for a really short period of time and then they were gone. They're going to come back in before this is done. This is the knit along we started in January, and I am still going on it because I'm taking my time because I have too many projects on needles. So
I
if
need
you're like,
to
ooh,
work
that's
on
cool.
mine.
Yeah, your modified crochet one.
Yes,
Mhm.
because I haven't.
If you want to, I mean, you know, there aren't that many people trying to do a crochet version, so it's not,
I
you know,
know,
the end of the
but,
world.
you know.
But we still have a few kits left for that. And I think it's cool because Echo Point, it's got like the colors echo and the sides echo,
Yeah.
and it's more intricate than I thought, but not super complicated. You just have to pay attention. Those are some ongoing projects. And then my yen to start new sweaters got the better of me. But I finished 2 projects this weekend. One day this weekend, I gauge swatched for and then started. And both of these sweaters have patterns in them, but the gauge swatch said in pattern this or stockinette with this on these needles. And I only did the stockinette gauge swatch and then said, oh, it worked in stockinette. So let's just, and that's what they said I needed. So I'm just going to assume everything else is going to work. We'll see if this works or not. This is the beginning of my Ponderosa by Woolen Pine Designs. It is a drop shoulder. So like if I stretch this out and it looks super wide for me, it's because it's gonna up here, it's gonna drop off my shoulder. It's like you basically make 2 giant square / rectangles and sew them together, and then the sleeves come off of that. The reason I wanted to make this from back here, it's probably hard to see.
It's all cabley.
It's all super braidy cabley, and I've only done very little of the cables, but I'm super excited. All the examples you can see on Ravelry of the sweater have these super saturated colors, and it's fingering weight, but on a 6. So it's a fluffy fingering weight. It's fluffy. It hopefully won't take a 6 or a 7 is what I'm doing a lot of my thicker yarn sweaters on. So hopefully this will be light and airy and wonderful and not take a million years, but we'll see. So one of our best super saturated colors in the shop, again, it's Fiber Spates. No one should be surprised, is the deep aqua color. I want to say deep teal, but deep aqua, it is teal, but ish. But deep aqua is a wonderful color. I've been jonesing to use it on something for a long time. I almost picked the Plum Imps, which is a really, really dark, like purpley pinky color, red color. But then I was like, my first finger, this is my second fingering weight sweater. My first fingering weight sweater was Vivacious 4-ply from Fiber Spates, Spiced Plum, which is Plum Imps, a little lighter. So I was like, I can't just do both my fingering weight sweaters be almost the same color. So I've gone the other direction with this deep teal, and it is so much fun and squishy, and I'm already super excited. I am alternating skeins just in case that I've picked out. I should take me 4 skeins of this yarn.
And oddly enough, you don't have a deep teal anything in the shop.
No, although what was I was thinking, well, I remembered I'm making my Ready Set Raglan sweater in teal type colors, but they're this muted color. They're much more muted and a little more green than this. So I'm okay with this. That's at home. I can't show it off next to each other. So I gauge swatched and started this. And I saw someone online being like, what do you do with your gauge swatches? Do you like, and people are like, oh, I use them as blankets for my kids' dolls and stuff. Because I don't block my gauge swatches. I'm that kind of person. I rip them out and use them. So my gauge swatches don't exist anymore because I don't want, I use the yarn in the sweater. I also, there's another cable pattern that came across my vision, and it's a Thea Coleman. Thea Coleman is Baby Cocktails. So she names all of her sweaters after drinks or alcohol or things like that. And if that doesn't float your boat, don't make her stuff, but it's super cute. It's like, if that doesn't like make you go, huh? For some people that'll be like, oh, that's so cute. Some people will be like, no. But what was this one called? I have to look it up now. It's like
Angel's Envy.
Angel's Envy. And I think that's a certain type of like bourbon or something. I picked out, I was like, it looks super complicated, but it's got cables and then patterned stitches that make it look like the whole thing's like an Aran sweater, but it's not. And I thought, ooh, this would look good. I mean, honestly, it would look fantastic in Fiber Space Vivacious DK, but I am actually going to make it in a heathered Cascade 220, which is just a nice basic solid wool, nothing super fancy. It's probably going to be like half the cost of a sweater like this, but it's still going to look beautiful. And I figured it's time I had a sweater made out of one of the more standards in the shop.
You have a sweater made out of 220.
Oh yeah, I do.
But you made it long before you ever came to work at the shop.
And it's super fancy with big, huge cables and stuff in it. So I kind of avoided purple this time because I already have that. But as an example, and that's from a Rowan magazine that you have to go hunt down online because it's no longer published. So that's one of those, like, I'm not going to have it in the shop because it's hard to, like, if someone says I want to make that, I'll be like, well, here are the challenges. This is one you can get on Ravelry. Here's my gauge swatch, which I made last night. And this is not a proper gauge swatch, I will admit. I'm measuring it while it's still on the needle and it's really not long enough, but my row gauge is never right anyway. I get a ballpark figure and then I throw caution to the wind, and usually it works out for me. And for some people that doesn't work for them. So please know, like, if you try something like this, like, I made sure it was wider than the 4 inches so I can measure in the center. And I made sure that it was long enough that I could lay one of my little Susan Bates flat measuring gauge windows over it and count. But it would help if I'd made it longer. I'm just impatient. For some people that will work.
No knitter
ever. For some people that will work, and for some people you should knit more just to be on the safe side, because this is really not enough for a completely accurate, but I'm okay if it's a little off because it's a cardigan. I'm going to pull it. I have this pile of yarn here. This is called Smoke Heather, I believe. And it is this lovely sagey heather color that I'm so excited. So even though I still have all those sweaters you saw last Tuesday on needles, haven't finished any yet, but I finished other projects. So I feel like that gives me license to start a new one. Let me see. I think I have this in my library on my phone as well. Angel's Envy. Let's see if this isn't the best picture. Let me see if there's another picture. Yeah, that one might be. They're all a little dark, but yeah, even that one's a little dark. I don't like to lighten our video too much because then we look all extra pasty. But it's got cables. The other things, I'm going to put the link in the description and go look at it on Ravelry. It looks like it's a super, super complicated cardigan, but it has some basic cables and then a lot of stitch work to give it texture on the sides. And I think it's going to look gorgeous in this. So I'm probably going to start it soon. Anyway, so so that's all the stuff that we're currently, I still have both shawls and sweaters on needles, and I need, but one of the things that happened this week is in focusing on this, and shout out to Jan, she's a mostly monogamous knitter. Maybe she'll have a crochet project on the side now that she's learned to crochet a little bit. That focusing on one to pound it out is possible while also keeping going on the others. And I'm hoping that I can keep adding old stuff into the rotation and new stuff and get something done once in a while. There was a period last year where I was trying to get like a project done a week, and that's so not happening anymore. But I'm trying to figure out what brings me joy. And if
right now it's starting sweaters.
Right now it's starting as many new sweaters as possible. But if it was finishing things, I would be focusing more on that. It's very true. But if having deadline knitting where I'm trying to finish something a week was not bringing me joy. So I'm not doing it right now.
I told Mom last night that I had finished my sweater, and Mom goes, "Oh, good. What are you going to work on now?" I was like, "Well, I have 160 old projects.
The choices are endless.
The choices are
right?
endless, but I don't know. I might do something lacy with cables. I don't know.
Yeah.
I-
Fun. All right, so we have to go because we should open the shop in like 3 minutes. So very briefly, we have virtual sit and stitch tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom with the shop phone number to get in.
828-877-3550.
And tomorrow is a VSC. So today's your last time to get some of the Knitter's Pride new products on sale and Ito on sale. We will show you new products we'll put on sale. They may not be new to the shop, but they'll be new to the sale tomorrow. And then Thursday we have Dear Becky and Lizzie. And so if you have any questions for us, if not, I already have some thoughts on things that we could talk about if I remember. But if you have a question you would like us to talk about, and the teacher in me says there are no stupid questions.
I'm the one with those Fair Island cables.
No, there are no stupid questions. And all of them are interesting. Even if we've talked about them before, I bet someone else out there is thinking about it and hasn't watched all our back episodes.
Yep.
So ask us what you want. If you want to write us a letter, which would not be for this week unless you're going to hand deliver it or something, you can write to Dear Becky and Lizzie, Sun Dragon Art and Fiber, 35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina, 28712. If you want us to talk about it this week, your best shot at that is to email
Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com, all spelled out.
all spelled out, and except for the dot, but hopefully most people can figure that out. I think I put it in the description. If not, I will try to remember to do that. And then Friday, we have another virtual sit and stitch from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, again, for all that stuff. Our next Sunday afternoon sit and stitch is going to be March 20th. And we need to go open the shop. So I hope you all have a great day. If it's rainy like here, stay in and do some cozy knitting or crocheting. I need to find another crochet project now. I've been doing so many knits. I was like, I'll start a crochet and now it's done already. So,
I'll start one. Ooh, look, it's finished.
Oh, look, it's done.
It's crochet.
Yes, it eats up more yarn, but it tends to go faster. So anyway, I love y'all. Thank you. Oh, the whole subscribe. Our subscription numbers are still growing, which is super cool.
We are over a quarter of the way
to the next sale, which would be the next milestone would be 800 subscribers. When I looked this morning, we were at 727. And it fluctuates. Sometimes we dip down and sometimes we rise up and sometimes we're in the middle. But that's super cool that it's still growing. So consider subscribing if you haven't already, because let us help.
Help us help you.
Yeah, that what she said. So because we all win then. Yay, sale. Hit the bell if you want alerts when we are publishing. And you can always go over to patreon.com if you don't need any yarn but want to support all the work and all the hours we're putting in to bring stuff to you all. You can do a subscription from as little as $3. You could even, I think, sign yourself up for whatever you want, which could be less than that. We have higher levels. Everyone who supports us over on patreon.com/sundragon gets their name in the credits. If you don't want your name in the credits, just tell us. If you want us to be like anonymous or have a fun made up name, that's okay too, within reason. I used to tell my students when I was a teacher, I'm like, you can put I had them on like name cards when they started. And I'm like, you can put whatever you want on the name card, but that is what I will call you. So, and it can't be offensive.
Be going out live over the interwebs. So,
so I had someone who was Snickers first semester or Blaze or, it was kind of fun, but I said I would use that in their comments to parents too, as long as you're willing to engage in that, and it's fun. So if you want a fun nickname in the credits instead of your actual name, that's okay. Just let us know when you subscribe or contact us. So anyway, we got to go. Bye. Have a great day. Enjoy the rain if you're near us.
yay. Rain.